For this one, drinks down, man up, circle round, stand up, pimps up, hands down, beat 'em up, man down. Drinks down, man up, circle round, stand up, pimps up, hands down, beat 'em up, man down. No hands in the air, no need for pumping your fist. No hands in the air, no need for pumping your fist. No hands in the air, no need for pumping your fist. Let the man tear the roof off, jump in the pit. Jump in the pit.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another another round, monthly ranked pit battles live stream with your boy, your host, Peter, aka LPD Dubuque, and I certainly hope you guys are certainly ready for this. This month, a little bit lighter than usual. I would certainly say we have half the amount of people competing this month, but that's kind of understandable considering that it's the month of May. A lot of people, especially on the West Coast, schools getting out at the end of the school year, so finals are a thing. And I can certainly tell you over here on the East Coast, trying to wrap up with school as well. So it's understandable that a few people are not available to to do any pit battles this month, but that's okay. We have a great stack lined up for you guys. Got 5 matches, 10 videos. It's gonna be a great time for everybody. Certainly hope you guys are all excited for that, because I am certainly excited about that. On again. Always forget something, don't I? But yes, certainly hope you guys are excited for this round. We got a good amount of people. We got Pinky back in the lineup again. That's going to be super exciting in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to see some more Pinky. We got BMO, we got Tourmaline, we got Lust back in here, so that's going to be good. We're going to do that. And we got a couple new faces. It's going to be a lot of fun, in my opinion. I think this was a very interesting month. Funny thing is that I always talk to Genghis Wrath when I'm doing my weekly Wednesday hangout in the Worldwide Glovers Discord, which I do highly recommend. If you are not in that Discord, to please join that Discord. Important. Can't tell you how important it is. It's extremely important. So, something I definitely would recommend checking out. So, what I do every Wednesday is an open lab forum type situation. I do know that for the month of June, besides the little setup I have going on, going to be doing gloving foundations. Pretty much me trying to help newcomers understand what are gloving foundations, and just a basic principled understanding of not just like, okay, you just do 1 or 2 things. It's like, not, these are all set up to essentially, it's basically understanding the most fundamental forms of everything that you depends on what that is. I think we're going to build up from there, but I think this month is going to be interesting, all things considered. The other bit of news I do want to let you guys know is I am still working on my video. I was hitting a bit of a snag, and I pretty much had to resort to doing something I didn't think I needed to do, but it was so. One of the things that I came to notice is that my computer was struggling really bad on getting pretty much loading and actually processing the project, essentially, right? You guys kind of like see how I made my videos past. There's a lot of assets all over the place, right? And I try to put a good amount of effects in and kind of bring a layer of ambiance. Apparently, I guess the project just had so much built into it, so much of it trying to run, that it really lagged itself down. Like, it would take me forever just to scroll back on part of the video to like work in other. So what I did was essentially I got to an end to a section of a video that I was like, all right, this is a good cut point that I can stop, get rid of the rest of the stuff that I needed to work on, and needed to work on exporting the project. As I rendered whatever I had done, just so I had part of the video all taken care of, and then I had to copy the project and open a new project and stick the rendered part of the section that I just worked on, move all the other stuff, so now it's able to render things a lot faster because it's already taken care of. And surprisingly enough, it's just like, okay, I just have way too many assets I'm trying to process while working. I know there's like pre-rendering that you can do with your things, but yeah, that's just pretty much. But yeah, that's pretty much the only update that I really need to explain on. I've been doing stuff. I know the other thing is I'm trying really hard to get Gloving Table Talks up and running. I'm going to try to, not this coming week. Coming week is literally really stacked for me. I'm pretty much like leaving on Wednesday evening, not coming back here till Saturday. I have to take my husband to work retreat thing, something for managers. Really need to know some things that he's mandatory. And last bit I will point out is that, as you guys can tell, I'm in yet another different room. Yeah, Still in the same building, we just had to move. Here I am in another room, the building. Actually nice and speak. I do know you probably can hear the PC unit that I have to have running, but this place bakes because it's on the second floor, so all the heat that different floors hooks up into or onto this floor. Quite toasty at night. So that all that stuff out of the way, we can finally move on to doing pit battles. I'm really excited this one. So without further ado, let's go ahead. So one thing I do want to point out is that we have I think this is probably the last time I need to point out that remind everybody we did have some new updated list call out stuff. Where you see the lineups is either unlisted channels, you got the numbers of 24 to 17 from 24 to 17 spots ahead, and can do 5 spots ahead, 3 spots ahead. Challenger wins, the 2 switch. Challenger loses, then 3 spots. You fall off the list, you go into a place called the graveyard. That's where some people kind of like go there if they are just not as active, kind of fall off the list in that fashion, or they get booted off because somebody had challenged them. Do you see people come back in there? I think Lust was actually on that. We're gonna find out if she finally gets out of the graveyard. So that should be yes. So let's go ahead and look at what last month looked like. We left. I do remember when we talked about last month. Holy Toledo, there was a whole lot of changes going on. It was like all over the place. But here we are in a very interesting spot. Got Zug Swain, Starstream, Gabagool, Boo Boo, Daddy, Tourmaline, Stop, and Black and Stack in the top 8. It's gonna be really interesting. We also got BMO, Quantum, Zealsabub, Pink, Wild, Limit, Panda, and Appa in the top 16. Really important. Excited to see. This is a pretty good stack top 16. If we ever do a top 16. I also have another funny idea that I would like to see happen for the pit battles for a month. I definitely want to hit up Game Breath and see. Think about doing it. I think it would be a really cool idea. You know, it would really shake up the list. I guess we'll also have community opinion. Yep, this is what the list looks like so far. There's a lot of interesting games on here. I'm really excited to see. Yeah, so let's get right in our up on our list. We got Pinky versus Stop for the number 8 spot. Go ahead. Out. You guys are all excited as much as I am. That's what we're here for. Monthly pit battles. Let's see what we got. We first got Pinky, and then we're gonna hit Stop map. So, without further ado, Pinky, show us what you got. Interesting opening. Alright, interesting forms. Okay. interesting scales. Alright, interesting clusters. Okay. Interesting stuff. Admit to that. One of the things I will definitely point out when it comes to Pinky Show is that I feel like he's really utilizing the battles as like and I'm not saying that that is a bad thing. Like people taking risks in a low stake environment like pit battles. I mean, this is where I feel like people don't fully understand why pit battles is actually participate in, and it's because you're not held to a standard to a degree like you would in the formatting is pretty much purely experimental and for entertainment purposes, all things considered. But this is where people really get to experiment and try things out and surprise people with some unconventional practices that one has explored and dabbled in. So I think this is one of those videos that because those were really interesting scales. I would certainly say some angling to the camera looked a little wonky. But I mean, to me, I kind of look at it as like, that's why I say it feels like a little bit experimental. I see the idea, see what we're trying to do, but it's just some parts kind of come rough around the edge. I think it's just our understanding of vantage point perspective. Because I'll admit, trying to maintain what your camera is viewing without actually seeing like the viewfinder for it, it's actually really difficult. So overall, really interesting. I did find it interesting that we were keeping more to tempo and instead of very strong musicality. However, really interesting diamond patterns on the grid, really interesting isolation points with, so it had a very shifty kind of feel to it. I can describe that. Not necessarily what I would consider a pit battle. Hey, I've seen people do pit battle videos with much slower pace. Guess that's how I'm just gonna yeah, all right. So next stop is going to be, ironically, stop. Next up is him. So without further ado, stop, please. Show us what you got. Okay. Okay, interesting light lineups with the placement. Keep an eye on that guy. Alright. Okay. That was something of it. So first things first, I'll definitely want to point that I feel when I watch Stop's show, it has the double decker lights. At times it really feels like I'm getting a double. Like there's just so much lights going on. Yeah, I often feel like there's four hands of just I will certainly say certain ways that he does a lot of his whips and flails and dynamic sets really can look like just one set of hands, but then there's certain times where it's like seriously there's so much lights going that like there are four. But there are other dynamic movesets I will certainly say that kind of brings it back down to make you realize, oh, there's only two hands going on. But I really also like how Stop utilizes lineup of lights that makes them technical visual aligning. That makes sense. So like you'll see like 3 points, your brain will naturally want to draw a line between, line them up, connect the dots. And so when you actually utilize like your digit points, get that lineup to happen, right? I know that's like really bright. Yeah, the tip of my thumb is touching right here at this knuckle. Like that's a really great lineup, right? Because if you look, it distinctly lines up to the back knuckle back here. Just perfect example. Overall, I do feel like this one was kind of two ships passing in the night city, in my opinion. Really good for what they were trying to do in a vacuum. Compared to each other, it's like two people swing at each other and they both miss. No one gets hurt, but no one lands a punch type deal. I don't know who would really want that from me. I feel like both of them kind of stayed safe within concepts that they wanted. So I do think saying that Pinky was a little bit more experimental. But visually, there was just something interesting in the top show. I really don't want to say it's like, more lights mean better. It is quite difficult. But guess what? I'm not a judge. I don't have to worry about that. So let's see who won that one. Well, surprise, surprise, it was actually Stop who won that one. Congratulations to Stop for maintaining spot number 8. Really interesting battle between both of you. It would be really difficult. Alright. Next up on our, it is BMO versus. This one should be very interesting. This one for the 6th spot. Go ahead. BMO first, and then we'll do Torment second. Without further ado, BMO, please show us what you. The turquoise to a light gold color combo. Ooh, that was some excellent isolation work right there. Jesus. Oh. All right. Oh man. Dude. Jesus. Man. All right. Okay. First of all, that is a bona fide BMO show if I've ever seen. Holy crap, that was great. I mean, excellent isolations, excellent technique, excellent forms, excellent musicality, pacing, expansion, and resolution, storytelling. Like, this was a kind of like, dude, great Hallmark show altogether. I was very, very impressed. There was some things that I was also very intrigued by when how we utilize, instead of like moving faster, we moved across space a lot faster. I think within like a series of movements. I think that was one of the big hallmarks. Emo show in this case is that his technical performance of this. I mean, overall, this was a nutty ass show. Like, I don't know what else to say. But absolutely excellent. Dude, just seeing your flails has always been it's always a treat to me. Absolutely excellent. So, question now: what does normally do to go up against this? I can certainly tell you this right now. That's a really hard follow-up. Oh boy. So, guess we're just gonna have to find out right now. Without further ado, show us what you got. Okay.
Covering me with drip, I think he tryna smother me.
Okay. Nice transition.
Talk but never touch me. Broke haters can't tell me nothing. This that mean milk Gucci man. Young swing through evidence, they can come right back through like a boomerang. Louis inside my drip. Pay money like booty tank. He wanna be by the but we up her, so he don't know who to blame. She wanna jet for me. She got a jet for me. Next to baby, the Instagram they on that ecstasy. Hey, diamonds like folks, and I got the sauce, I mix it the recipe. For this baby, that was a trapper, the plug on invest in me.
Right. All right. Interesting digital work. All right, very nice. All right. I really liked his flow. Flow in this one was very interesting. Really liked the cleanliness in it, and I felt like we were sticking to flow more often than not, which is not unacceptable. Fine. It's just one of the things where, like, I feel like when it comes to people understanding, you can tell when somebody's either doing musicality and kind of like, and then somebody who's following the tempo. And I don't think people understand that doing either of these are fine. It's just understanding how to evaluate each version. If that makes sense. How do you discern, like, when somebody's actually going to the beats of the tempo rather than the beats of the actual song? Yeah, and then of course once you figure out what that is, how do you evaluate from that point, from that perspective? And I feel like when you're going to the tempo, like, everything needs to feel very intentional, needs to be very visually clear. And I feel like Tourmaline really did that. I really do. I really also like the layer of expansions. I do think there were some moments where he did go out of frame. Don't necessarily want to hold that against. That is something that you always have to be careful of in camera awareness. But again, if you're not seeing the viewfinder, you can use that so easily. Very, very. But overall, very clean show. Really liked everything that was going on. Used the space in the beginning as well. Good highlight. Question is though, does that stand up to BMO's show? That's really tough, because you know, I do think BMO had probably a much more expansive show. But you know what? That's the great thing about it is, I'm not the judge, so I don't. So it was BMO who got to keep that. So congratulations, BMO, winning on that one. keep your spot, or you get to spot number 6 as it. But you're really excited to see how the. So I would certainly say to Tourmaline, I really do like what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just be a little cautious with the camera. Okay. Next up on our list. Exciting. We got Pop Pop versus Lust. Excited for this one because I know Lust was on a while back. I think she back when we starting this season back in February/March. No, we started in March. Yeah, we started up in March. So instead of going up against Flag and Stack, which that was a tough one, but Flag and Stack really took you for that. Question is now, does Pop Pop have what it takes to keep her from getting on the list, or does Lust finally take herself to get on the list? Let's find out. We're gonna start with Pop Pop first, and then we'll hit Lust next. So, without further ado, Pop, please. What's what you got?
You can just drop fucking dead.
Ah, you unoverlaid swines, I swear. Okay. Okay, at least I like this color scheme. I'll give you that, Pop. Okay. That was pretty good. Okay. Okay. I really grabbed onto my mouse, and all of a sudden you're trying to do something. What are you doing? Okay. So I really like this. Was probably one of Pop's better shows. I feel like this one was a lot more controlled, a lot more methodical, a lot less rough around the edges. We cleaned up a lot of our act here, and we definitely were playing it very, very smart with how we were going with the beats. Really interesting forms and shapes that we were going with this, but overall, yeah, this was probably a better show. And I feel like the way I would put it in this case, like, I know in the past Pop Pop has said that he does a lot of the meme stuff because he understands the entertainment portion of it. Love it. But you can definitely feel like he was taking it very serious. And I think that's a good thing. I'm not saying that like you have to do that, but this time around I really felt like you were being extremely serious about your craft, about the game, and the matchup. So I can understand why, because you're going up against Lust, which is a tall order. So yeah, I would like to see more of this pop up. More stuff like this. I want you to become very much more methodical, because I feel like you definitely making sure that you give less a run for her money, regardless of the outcome. I really feel like you really kind of show people your hand of what you are capable of pulling off. You know, so I kind of take this as the form of formidity or formidability. It makes you formidable. That's basically what I'm trying to say. This makes you a very formidable opponent. This show, at least. So, question is now: does Lust take the show from there? You win? Does she lose? Yeah. So, without further ado, Lust, please show us what you got. Unoverlaid swines, I call you all. Okay. Okay, that was an interesting fake out. Okay. 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 So, yes, you guys got a sneak peek to the the next show. That's totally fine. Okay. So, this was an interesting pit battle, okay? And I feel like we definitely got an interesting concepts were thrown here. One thing I definitely wanted to point out that I didn't point out in the last video that we just watched with this match, but I do want to point out something I needed to address when it comes to understanding why I like my overlay. So, phone microphones are not really good doing stereo recording. Not only that if you play it through your phone, play music through your phone to have it recorded to a camera, it kind of makes it go from stereo style audio to mono style audio. You don't know the difference between stereo and mono, that's totally fine. I will be able to help you understand this. So stereo is essentially multiple speakers, multiple source points. That's what makes it stereo. Mono means singular, as in one. The all sound goes through one, so you're only going to be able to hear one tone at a time. So if you have multiple tones playing from a stereo style, stereo file, essentially, you play it out of one speaker, it kind of goes into one tone, into a mono format. So some audio pieces do get lost because of recording format. And here's the thing, we aren't hearing music how you heard it. Now granted, I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, they're hearing it from their camera. Yes, but or hearing it from their phone, which to a degree, yes. But when you're filtrating it through another microphone from a phone speaker, it degrades the audio quality much more. Even if you have a really good recording microphone, which, to be fair, a lot of new ones are like that right now. But I would certainly say if you wanted to get good quality audio for recordings, like use a separate audio recording device or overlay. That's the key thing to me. If you overlay, we are going to hear all the nuance, subtle sounds you probably heard and picked up on and conveyed through your movement. Something I wanted to stress. However, that aside, this was a really interesting show. I really liked how we utilized space. I thought the pacing was really good. Great dynamic movesets, great technical concepts, great additions. Interesting fake out that we went into flails real fast to get ourselves set up into king tutting. And I want to call that a fake out because you were thinking you were going to go into flails, but you didn't. However, this was a good fake out because it didn't break immersion. Something that I was able to recognize, but you didn't stay on flails long enough for it to. You actually use like flails as a trend. So it's something I wanted to take. Overall, excellent show, Les. Really loved it. Go ahead though. Find out who won because I have no idea who would won that. Again, it's just like a two ships passing, and I think these shows are so good on the, like comparing them makes it very difficult. It kind of like comes down to preference. But if I had to choose between the two of them, I think I would. Really tough for me personally because seeing Pop actually provide and produce a performance that was very serious and methodical, I probably would say his show impressed me the most. But in terms of like who probably won it, I would probably say it would be less. But I was most impressed by Pop. Very serious with how he did his performance. However, unfortunately, that was not good enough to win. Yes, Lust wins this one. Congratulations to Lust for winning that one. Very exciting for you. It means you're finally on the list at spot 17. But the question is now, you're able to call 6 spots ahead. You're going to be able to climb up the ladder as fast as everybody else has done that you have on your team? Or are you going to get kind of trapped there later on in this season? Sure. But okay. Next up on the list though, I'm actually kind of excited to see, we have Tie-Dye versus Tap. Tap is somebody who's relatively new to the list. I don't want to say to the scene because I'm not entirely sure. You'll be surprised of how many people who've been in the scene for like 10 plus years never really interacted and lurked, just started interacting at this point. Yeah. So first, we're going to start with Tie-Dye, and then we're going to move on to Tap. I know, I hope I is such as I am. So, Tap, without further ado, show us what you got. Okay, we're doing a pretty good opening. Okay.
It's the sickest little feeling I got. Won't leave me alone. When you can wrap your hands around anyone, so every little chance that I got, I'll give it away for free. We like to love, we like to touch. This one for me is never gonna be enough. We like to love, we like to touch. This one for me is never gonna be enough. We like to love, we like to touch. This one for me is never gonna be enough. We like to love, we like to touch. This one for me is never gonna be enough.
All right. Okay. That was quite interesting in all honesty. One of the things I definitely want to point out is I really like your flow progression. Absolutely. Excellent work. 1 second. Sorry, I dropped some stuff on the ground. I tend to do. But no, absolutely excellent. So the flow progression was really, really fun. So like we did a lot of cool things. And overall it was just a fun journey. Do you think the musicality was really on point as well? And yeah, overall extremely good, competent show. Question is now is, was your opponent tapped by something better? Yeah. So without further ado, tap. Show us what you got. Unoverlaid swines, I tell you. Alright. Very interesting start.
Okay, put your fucking hands up. This the fucking anthem. Smiling cause I'm young, rich, black, and I'm handsome. Not to mention wealthy, ass on a healthy. Young millionaire, what the fuck can you tell me? Smell me? Nigga, that's Chanel cologne. I'm in Europe with the tourists with no cellular phone. Like, ooh, sound like rich nigga problems. I hit the bad bitch with a fistful of condoms. In the randomness of risky benign, just like hit the headlight. She be hit when she born and spit, then flaunt it. My trip like a faucet. She told me she was pregnant. I ain't even take the motherfucking dick out my pocket yet. The opposite. She want me to fly her, so I cop the jet. Must be thinking I'm a one-way ticket on a runway. Tripping in my feng shui, sipping on a Sunday. One of y'all niggas gonna be fucking with me. I got 2 bad bitches gonna be rubbing my feet. I got 3 young niggas down the bus of their heat. And
Okay.
y'all ain't got nothing.
Nice lyricality in all honesty.
Young niggas gonna be fucking with me. I got 2 bad bitches gonna be rubbing my feet. I got 3 young niggas down the bus of their heat. And y'all ain't got nothing on me. I bought a Montclair coat for the times where it broke. I'ma wear it in the summer on the Ron James boat. Front row, dub row. We don't
Alright.
nosebleed. Ain't your pockets obese? They won't fit in those seats. And we like a cold team. Nigga Shaq and Kobe. Like back in 03. I was only like 6. I was like 16. But I could give her 16. I could make a bitch scream. That's a bit extreme. I got a thick ball, bitch. I call her Miss Clean. My trip frosty like house in Listerine.
Nice mode change.
Yeah, I had to ball hard to harvest these dreams. Swear to God, me too. No Harvey Weinstein. The coupe was lime green. My wrist was blinding. We party in South Beach, Ferraris and blue cheese. Fuck does that even mean? Just let the hook sing. None of y'all niggas gonna be fucking with me. I got 2 bad bitches gonna be rubbing my feet. I got 3 young niggas down the bus of their heat. And y'all ain't got nothing on me. Ooh, not one of y'all niggas
Okay. Okay. I'll say this right now. That felt like the most pit battle video tonight. Just want to point that out. I really felt like this person had some really good punchlines and really brought the energy of the vibe that this is giving off. And I really liked that we had some verticality going. The other thing is, well, this is very tech heavy show. But I do want to point that out as very interesting. I feel like there was some levels of variety here. Interesting mode change. Though I will certainly say definitely need to work on not making it so obvious that you're doing a lot of mode change. Granted, like, boy, I talk about plays because I can clicks, I can hear them. So it haunts me so, I tell. But yes, no, yeah, overall this is a really good show. I definitely felt like we had a little bit more of that pit battle aggression in this. Probably was the rest of it. If I had to choose, I think Tap. I do like Tie-Dye's show. I really like what he was throwing, but I just felt like in terms of like response, this was a proper response to that. But overall, very, very interesting show. Question is, what did the judges and everyone felt about that? My notes tell me that it was Tie-Dye who won that one. Congratulations to you, Tie-Dye. Really interesting to see how else goes with you. So Tap, I definitely going with what you're doing. I really like what you're doing, and that was a really good energy for first time sleeping on this show. Taking a quick gander to check his. Go up. I've been on here so. You have not been on here so. All right. For your first premiere on monthly pit battles, that was actually a pretty good one. So. Now, sure you're all probably gonna be wondering what's coming up next. Well, we got our last one. This one was an interesting how things played out. This was definitely for the entertainment value. You know? We are now going to have Gabagool versus Kem. This should be very, very interesting. I believe this is Kem's first premiere on show as well, so go ahead and see it. So without further ado, we're going to start with Gabagool, and then we're going to move on to Kem's afterward. Gabagool, show us what you got.
If one more label try to stop me, it's gonna be some dreadhead niggas in your lobby. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. Just another day at the pick up on the mail. They gon' channel riding through the streets, they be like they go.
Alright, interesting color scheme.
Fuck you thought it was. You talk that make a lame ass nigga fall in love. Not me though, bitch, you could keep those. Bro, I'm at your head like Craig did Debo. Don't tweak, bro, it's never sweet out. My shooters come for free, so if one more label try to stop me, it's gonna be some dreadhead niggas in your lobby. You don't want no problem with me.
Alright.
no tobacco. Where the hell you get them from? Jesus said he ain't made them. My nigga chasing bounty hunters and getting chased by their baby mamas. My first tap on my stomach, got a pocket full of money and a mind full of ideas. Some of the shit may sound weird. Inside of the Maybach look like it came out of IKEA. Run shit like diarrhea. Big yacht, no pie still. I captain. I'm high captain. I'm so high. Me and God dapping. This my blessing. This my passion. School of hard knocks. I took night classes. You don't want no problem.
Very nice. That was nice.
You don't want no problem when no problem with me. Yup. Pull up in this thing with my. They go like they go. I got problems bigger than.
All right. So that was an absolutely excellent show. All on. Really, really great show. Reason why I'm saying that, because the flow progression, absolutely excellent. I couldn't ask for anything better. So, one of the things I'll definitely love to point out is I really like the color scheme, and I really like the flow progression, especially with your technicality. I think your grid work is doing excellent as well. Do you think you were probably like you were standing just a little bit off center of the camera because you had some parts that came off view? And granted, you were doing some mirrored techniques or mirrored formations, which so I was able to extrapolate like what you were doing with the other. I just know if you took like a half step to the right, you would have been perfectly centered. Totally fine though. Just something I noticed. Maybe you had your arm go out a little bit farther. I think it was just one of the things where you just weren't quite on camera, but that's fine. Doesn't really matter. But really liked a lot of your transitions, especially that one near the end. That was an excellent transition. So overall though, absolutely excellent. Question is though, does Kem's feet stink more than your feet when it comes to this, as you guys did so eloquently on your post? Let's find out, shall we? So without further ado, Kems, for your debut, please show us what you got.
Bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him two lips like roses and clover. Bring me a dream. Bring me a dream. Bring me a dream.
All right, interesting forms, interesting use of space. Somebody had a misclick and is correcting it. Okay.
Bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him two lips like roses and clover.
Bring me a dream. 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 Bring me a dream.
Okay. Ooh, alright. I can definitely see a few people saying no, no, no on that. Yeah, I can definitely see some people saying no, no because you did the how you did that ending. Overall though, I actually think this was an interesting show. I like your style. I'll say that right now. I really do like your style. Alright, I'm dropping popcorn all over the place. I personally think that this was somebody who has very interesting flow-based concepts. Definitely a flow-based style overall, but have really interesting perspectives when it comes to depth perception, force perspective concepts, and overall shapes and forms with your concept. Very interesting movements that we're also doing well as switching back and forth, foreground, background. So I do find that rather interesting to see. Overall, that's quite the interesting show. Now, I can certainly say that there was a good amount of times that it looks really, really rough. Maybe some people consider it sloppy. I would say rough around the edges for sure. But really do like what you're doing here. You do have really strong forms of isolation. So if we work on cleaning those up a little bit, you're less floating, as Puppet would call it. Which basically, if you don't know what floating is basically like if you're trying to keep something in place, and as you're doing stuff, it starts moving. You're not even trying to do that. You're just trying to keep it in place, right? As opposed to when you're holding it there, you know, I'm not floating here. But then, you know, if you're not paying careful enough, you start drifting off like. Overall, though, really interesting. I do like the color concept. I think that was really cool. Color schemes you had going on were quite interesting. Yeah, and if I saw that correct, no, that was last. Overall though, yeah, the only thing I can see a lot of people hitting you for is that ending. You do not give a proper ending, therefore you see a lot of people being like boo boo boo, tomato tomato tomato, which I will certainly agree to it to a degree. That yes, you need to have a better ending. You guys gotta know how to end the show. You can't just cut it off. Dang, one of those things for me. But okay, who won that one? Well, I personally think it was Gabagool. And I was not the only one who thought that. Everybody else did. So Gabagool won that one. Congratulations to Gabagool for winning that one. I don't know if that was actually a ranked pit battle or not. I had it on there because we didn't have so many in this. But it's okay. We are now going into the month of June. So for people of the future who watch this after this, happy Pride Month, I guess. Should be rather interesting. But yeah, there you go. That you now have your matches for this month. Very, very interesting. Now, go on over to our list over here, and this is what it looked like at the beginning of the month, and what it looks like now. As you can see, not a whole lot of movement, but there was some movement. It looks like Violet's actually moved up one without doing any light shows. Kudos to you for making it to the top 12, I guess. Yeah, we had some pretty good movement. I see that Pinky has moved down. He was 12 and now he's alright. Yep, we still got Zug Swain, Starstream at 1 and 2, Gabagool made it to 3, Boo Boo is 4, Gaddy is 5, Bimo is 6 now, 7 is Stop, Tourmaline is 8. That is your top 8 currently. And top 8 is actually looking pretty good. That's a pretty good stacked lineup in my opinion. I would think that would be a very interesting top 8 to see if that was the end of the season. Top 16 though, looking at everyone from 9 and 12 or 9016. Interesting also lineup right there because you got Quantum, Appa, Flackenstack, Vio, Limit, Panda, and Pinky along with Zealsabot. Definitely would like to see what happens there. I know we got a few match callouts that have happened that started in the month. I think we got 2 so far. So hopefully we're going to see some more coming up next month. But congratulations to everybody who has made it onto the list. Les, I know you've been trying to get on that list. You weren't on that list last month. So just saying, kudos to you. I mean, it's really hard to get on that list, but you got on that list. So let's see what you pull off. You certainly hope to see like Fractal and Hypnotoad and iTeen and Monkey and Ripple Effect version really start moving around. Actually, start putting out some more videos. I know for Ripple Effect it's been real tough, but I mean, this is the way he's gonna push himself. And I think in time he's gonna get there. So I hope to see it. But yeah, next month, man, gonna be some interesting matches coming up here. Now, I do remember talking about a particular thing I wanted Genghis Wrath to try. So in the future, if Genghis Wrath watches this, which I know he will, because we have discussions about pit battles every time we talk about it, and on Wiggling Wednesdays and Worldwide Glovers Discord. Please join that if you have not. Please like and share, subscribe to the channel as well. But please join that if you want to join on that every Wednesday night. I start 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then Zeal usually hops on around 9 p.m. Western Standard or Pacific Standard Time. That way we got the West Coast people covered as well. We try to keep it going for about a 6-hour event overall. And yeah, I think a good 6 hours of people just hanging out and labbing is a pretty good thing to do once a week. Gives you a place to go. But yeah, so the idea that I have for what I would like to see Genghis Wrath do is I would definitely like to see him go take the list, do what I would call a Royal Rumble. Now, what I mean by this is a Royal Rumble in like the terms of like wrestling, like a bunch of people get into a single ring and they all go nuts at once, right? What I would rather him do is that he takes the entire list, throws it into a match randomizer, and just randomize the entire list. Gives us 12 matches that everybody on the list has to get done in a single month. You got like you start the thing, and by the end of the month you have to get your songs, get your videos in, and then we'll see what happens from there. Right, I think that would be really cool. That gives us 12 matches in 1 month. I know that sounds like a lot, but I mean, the first 2 months with the list going, we had like 16 and 15 matches in a single month. But I think this is entirely possible. I think this would make it a lot of fun because then you're going to see people shift all over the place on the list. No, honestly, I think it would be a really cool shake up to the list if it gets a list. Though I do want to hear from people what you think about that, because it could be interesting. Could be interesting in all honesty. But yeah, other than that, that is pretty much all I have to say. I will like to thank everybody who's been attending and watching these live streams. I know I've been trying to keep other things. This is the only thing I can really do for myself right now to keep my channel active. While I'm doing a lot of workaround stuff. It's been so busy on a lot of stuff ever since Jason has had his brain injury. Has dominated a lot of my time, but you know what, that's the nature of it. I don't think anyone can really tell me that I was ever going to be prepared for something, right? But I think learning to get around a lot of stuff. Yes, Danny, you actually did miss all the matches. Just got home, sorry. I'm doing good, Danny. Unfortunately, you did just miss all the matches. We just got done through all 5 matches. We'll have to catch it, rewatch it later, yes. But I was just wrapping things up, letting everybody know that I got figure out a problem with my video, and working on that. I'm going to definitely make sure I try to get something scheduled for yeah, I'm definitely going to make sure I get Love and Table Talks scheduled. I know this coming month should be really interesting in terms of pit battles because we got a lot of people doing a lot of call outs. And hopefully I will have my video here done in a few months. Didn't realize it was going to take as much work as it is now. I didn't realize how much work was going to go into it. It'll be really interesting. But other than that, thanks Danny for catching me at the very end of the stream. But that is the case. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Catch me on Wednesdays, every Wednesday in Worldwide Glovers Discord, where I'm doing Wiggling Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to whenever. And I'll definitely hope to get you guys next month. See you guys later.